Today I'm going to talk to you all about insurances. So it'll be a very brief video as an overview about the key points and the limitations of some insurance policies. So I'm going to talk about three main insurance policies. I'm going to talk about life insurance, critical illness or serious illness cover, and income protection. I'm going to talk you through what these covers are for and some of the limitations with them. So let's use and start with life cover. Life cover is often the phrase that you hear when talking about all three of these combined, but they are different. The way that life cover works is this pays out on death. So if you pass away, life cover will pay out the amount of money that you've secured. So if you die and you've secured and you've got £100,000 there, life cover, that's how much would pay out. Typically speaking, there are usually restrictions on it. So usually if you commit suicide within a certain period of time, the policy won't pay out. And if you tell lies on your application, it doesn't pay out in that scenario. But generally speaking, if you pass away, that's when this policy pays out. There are providers out there as well that would pay out if you're diagnosed terminal. And what terminal means is that you've been told that you're going to pass away. So a critical illness, it's not a serious illness that you could recover from, but it's a terminal illness that you've been told that you're going to die from. So essentially life cover pays out on death or if you're told that you're going to die. Critical illness cover or serious illness cover, on the other hand, is different. So these pay out on severity of an illness such as cancer, heart attack, stroke, and it would depend on the definition of these illnesses to depend on either how much you get paid out or if it's going to pay out at all. And this is different from life cover because what could happen is you could be diagnosed with a cancer, with a heart attack, you could have a stroke, your life cover policy isn't going to pay out, so that's where critical illness cover comes in, and that will pay out in these scenarios. So essentially it's there if you survive them. So if you've got a separate life cover and a separate critical illness cover policy, you could end up getting two payouts. If you get cancer, your critical illness cover could pay out for it, and then if you pass away further down the line, your life cover would pay out. What I tend to see as a mortgage broker is most people have got life cover and critical illness cover, and they'll take that, but they'll forget about protecting their income. The reason that it's easy to forget about is because when you're talking about life cover, it's fairly cheap. You add your critical illness cover on, it brings in a little bit extra of the cost, but you can see that clear benefit of getting that lump sum payout. Now, on the flip side of that, it is based on severity and it's based on typical illnesses, whereas if you've got income protection or income replacement, this pays out usually if your GP says that you're not fit to go to work. So if you're not fit to work, say that's for 5 years, 10 years, you've got an income replacement policy, that can continue paying you until you go back to work. Now this covers everything that a critical illness cover plan would cover you for, plus things like bad back, if you're off with work due to mental health, anything at all that your GP is telling you that you can't work for is going to be covered under these income replacement plans. Make sure that you look at the provider's specific terms and conditions, but generally speaking, everything that you're off work for is covered under it. It's often missed when I see clients who are looking at protection planning because they'll often have life cover and critical illness cover joint and using up all of their budget, and they don't leave any room for income protection or income replacement. If you've got the opportunity, I would suggest reviewing income replacement or income protection, because it may be that you're diagnosed with something or something happens in your life where you don't get a critical illness cover payout, but you can't work and you've no way of paying your bills. So that income protection policy would kick in and pay in that scenario. So it's really important that when you're looking at these things, you are taking advice, and you're taking advice from someone who's qualified to talk to you about it. Because sometimes what I'll also see is I'll see people with life cover, but they don't have any financial dependents, they don't have anyone relying on them, but they've taken it out because it's fairly cheap, and it is fairly cheap, but they're neglecting things that they can actually benefit from. So you need to make sure that you're getting the right kind of cover and you're getting advice on the cover that you're after. But I hope you found this useful. If you've got any questions on it, feel free to fire them over, and tune in for another video next week where I can talk you through some more hints and tips. Cheers.